Hi everyone, I'm back in the kitchen putting together another one of my soup concoctions, right? The experimental kitchen. One of my students from the English classes that I teach came up with this title. Sometimes I use videos or pictures and ask people to describe it. And so I usually use my own creations here, right? So that's what I'll be doing with this when I'm done. I'll probably be sharing this in class. Maybe. We will see how it turns out. But I'm not looking for perfection in my videos. If you've followed me previously, I think my last video that I did was a soup. So today it's another soup. If you look at this, it doesn't look that great when you're looking at it, right? When I'm looking at it, I'm not done with it yet. But the carrots is why these carrots are they're larger, because mine's kind of a combination of a stew, and I like my carrots larger because I cook this slow, and otherwise that's what will happen if they're just tiny little pieces. They just kind of fall apart. And those little noodles in there is just something I just added a few minutes ago, is a multi-grain spaghetti noodle, but I just took just a few and broke them up into small pieces. So if you've read me talking about any of my other recipes and things that I do, I've been on this health journey. So I always use this as my disclaimer. I am not on a keto diet. I'm not on a no-carb diet. I'm not on a stay-on-my-head diet. I'm not on a let's eat only cabbage diet. Let's only drink smoothies. No, my goal is to come up with some healthy recipes for me. They're alternatives to the things I used to eat, but now I just make them a little bit different. So I've always ate a lot of soup, but I've cut the content down on this. So all this is, once again, is just some tiny little carrots. You can make yours smaller. These little red pieces right here, I had a few leftover sweet red pepper right here. There's nothing spicy or hot, but since it's soup, you can do whatever you want to it. And this right here is a tomato. So is what I'll do sometime is I'll take a little Ziploc freezer bag, and when I have like one little tomato left or a pepper or whatever, I just keep throwing everything in this little bag. They're never in there over a month. And then is what I do, I'll just throw them into the soup. So it's what I'm going to do today. I didn't make my own broth today. Instead, I'm cheating today. I know some of you're going to read the label on this, the ingredients, and go, oh no, Nancy, but that has blah, blah, blah. Well, don't use it. That's fine. Don't use it. But this is what I'm using, is this one. I've already shaken this up. Let me see, the sodium content still isn't the greatest, but I'm not adding any sodium from any other area. So let's see, I'm probably not going to use all of this. I don't use all of it because that cuts my sodium down if I don't use the whole thing. Let's see, for spice, I've already added some ground pepper and some basil. So there's a green around here. If someone thinks I have a dirty pan, no, that's just the, I think it's parsley or basil, parsley. Let's see. And then I was only going to make this into, let me move this over here. Okay, I was going to just make this into vegetables. So let's add these first. So need to turn it back up again. And it's possible that you're hearing some background noise here. You could be hearing my fan I have in the hall. If I don't keep that running on low when I'm cooking, I have this really great smoke alarm, which I love my smoke alarm because it needs to go off. But even when I'm cooking in this little thing here, it might just go off. Now, why is my boil gone? Oh, Yes, because of that. Okay, so I want to bring this up a little hotter first. Okay, and then this little clump, I know when you look at this, it doesn't look the best, but this little clump right there, that is frozen spinach. So if I was using fresh spinach and I was going to add it, I wouldn't add it until the very end, maybe 5 minutes before I'm ready to eat it. But this time I have frozen spinach. And this, I'm just going to drop this in here. This is my leftover vegetable soup. If you see any of my soups, and you've heard me talk about this before, or mainly write about it, I don't get on here on video very long. This one doesn't look the greatest, does it? Is why I didn't put very many noodles in this, because I had a few leftover potatoes, and so that's a carb, that's a starch. So I don't measure anything, just in my head I kind of keep an eye on how much fat, sodium, you know, all those things that we talk about. Okay, let me put a cover on this vegetable so I don't mess with it. Okay, and then as I was looking in my fridge for the vegetables, I saw I had like a half of a piece of baked chicken that I made yesterday. So it has all the spices and everything in it, whatever I happen to grab on the side from my spices. And so this is already cooked, so I'm going to add this. It's why I got into soups long ago. One, they were healthy, but two, I always have these little leftover things. Now, if you're looking at this and you're going, oh gosh, Nancy, this is gross looking. It's probably gross looking to you because there's some things in it maybe you don't like. So I know peas have a little bit of starch also, but that's okay, the way I make this. Let's see. Do I have everything? Yes, I do. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this to a boil. Then I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm going to put it on very, very low. Also, you can, if you like it more like a stew, thicker. I'm not going to thicken this one. In fact, I would say I need to add a little bit more soup base because it's a little bit too thick. So this is another one of my little soup. We could call it a base, right? And then is what I'll do if I end up not eating it all and I have a tendency to eat all these vegetables and good things, and then I end up having like a lot of broth left. I'll make sure the broth is cool, and then I'll put it in a freezer container, and I'll date it, and I'll put it in my freezer. And same thing with when I freeze leftover vegetables or little pieces that are left. I don't keep them in over a month. You can keep them longer, but they lose their flavor. Yeah, that spinach in there does look kind of, right? So you can even add more chicken to it, leave something out, add something to it. Okay, and so for dinner, this is going to be my dinner. And is what I might add to the side is a side salad. So I still have a little piece of that chicken left. Instead of adding it here, I'm going to make my salad, and then is what I'll do, I'll add a little bit of chicken so I get enough protein. In my eating habits, okay, I don't want to say diet because it's not a diet. During my eating habits, I have a really tough time making sure that I add enough protein to my meals. Okay? So that's why I decided I better put the chicken in the soup. Still need a little more. So I'm going to have soup and salad. And most of my vegetables this time of year, except for the carrots, I like using frozen vegetables. So I do make sure I'm a label reader. So I'll read the labels because I really don't want any bioengineered. Once in a while, it's there. I don't see it on the label, especially if I have my groceries delivered. I try and get this as pure as I can, but it's not 100%. So even in the area of sugar, someone asked me this question not long ago. So does that mean you eat no sugar? No, I still eat sugar. I've just cut back like 95% on my sugar. So if you see in my recipes pop up on my feed once in a while, I only put them there because there are people that do want to see them. And also we have a lot of people that are my friends here, and if I happen to put this up somewhere else, that they're cooking for one or they're cooking for two. So for me is what I'll be doing for this. There'll be leftovers, and I probably won't eat the leftovers tomorrow, but my leftovers, I know, so don't go by my 100% that it's safe. My leftovers, like with what's in this, is what I'll do. I'll make it today, but I won't eat the leftovers tomorrow. I'll have them the next day. But yeah, I'm sorry. This really does. The colors in it. It's not the most beautiful thing, is it? Okay, and I also have a little cup of coffee sitting here. This is my first cup of coffee. I don't know, just a little trivia if anyone knew this, that I collect coffee mugs. When I travel, I always like to get a coffee mug. Sometime I'll just see one and I like the looks of them. And so according to my mood, that's the coffee cup I will use for today. So today I needed to remind myself to believe, and maybe you need that also, is to believe. Maybe there's something you're believing for as a Christian. Maybe there's something as a Christian that you're trusting God. You're believing in Him for physical healing. You're believing that and having faith and trusting God in whatever area that is in your life. I know we're supposed to trust Him in all areas, but there are times in our life that it's really, really specific, right? So on that note, I'm going to bring this to a boil, full boil, and then I'm going to turn it on simmer, put the lid on, let it go, fill up my coffee, and then I'm going to go back to my computer, doing some writing today, working on a newsletter, also doing a little bit of tutoring. So I'm enjoying my day. I hope you are too. Because, why? I'm enjoying my day because last time I looked at the temperature, it said it's 19 degrees outside. And it's okay with me because I'm inside. Have a great day.